I mean, when I first moved here in late 76, it was to Van Nuys. So my introduction to the whole thing was
Where'd
right
you
in the middle
move
of the
from?
valley.
That's another old town.
Yeah, Van Nuys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally.
I mean, you know, and right there off Sepulveda.
The beautiful glossy sheen and luster of colorful modern rayons are strikingly shown.
With beauty, drama, and action played from a scenario written as only nature could write it.
Well, it's a massive area. You know,
Yeah.
and I just,
Where did you come from?
Texas,
What part of Texas?
Dallas.
Oh, so you know Dallas.
That's where I was born.
So you were already like in your 20s when you came out. And so
I was 20. Yeah.
You were 20, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like a kind of an accident because my cousin and his parents, my aunt and uncle, had moved out here from Texas in the late 60s because my aunt just loved it here. She's like, nope, not going back to that heat.
It is hot there.
Well, yeah.
And they have big bugs.
So I just
bugs.
got a chance to come out. And they said, why don't you come out, spend the summer
Nice.
In the 70s?
in 76. And then I just stayed. I got a job.
It's pretty fun
I was
in the
working
70s.
over the hill in Beverly Hills. It's a little music independent publisher. And
Oh, well, that's nice.
right next, they had a Fat Burger right there where La Cienega
Yeah.
and whatever that
We used to go to that Fat
Yeah.
Burger after shows
I
because
just live right down the street.
It was a 24-hour Fat Burger. And,
Not live, work.
and
Yeah, that's right. It was 24 hours.
And
right.
we would order double king chili cheese
Yeah,
with
hell yeah.
fried egg.
Right.
Which
and
Fat
bacon.
Burger? Where? La Cienega and what?
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I miss that
La
place.
Cienega and what?
It was like we're at La Cienega and what's that other street? They kind of come together.
San Vicente?
San Vicente.
San Vicente, yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the
It was
Beverly-
right there
where the
on that-
Beverly
Maybe it was San
Center-
Vicente that I'm
It was
thinking
right
of.
at the tip of the triangle.
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
Where the
exactly, right
streets
there.
X'd.
It was just a little, Fat Burger. Right
There was that location and one
Yeah.
other, I think. And
Probably the one way down La Brea.
I don't think that one's even there anymore.
Yeah.
The one on La Cienega.
Oh, no, I think that's long.
But that was like a favorite after show place to go, open 24 hours.
Well, it's like, I mean, you were in San Francisco. Every time that
Well, I
we-
was here until...
Oh, you were here till that.
And I went
during
up to
that
San
period.
Francisco like the end of 79, the beginning of 80.
Oh, okay. Well,
But I'm from LA, and I was in LA. I went to UCLA, and
did they still have Clown Alley up in San Francisco?
Yeah.
A little hamburger place?
Yes.
the
Because
the
we
building's
always went
there,
there.
the restaurant's not there.
Yeah, but
Right.
I don't know if it's the same owners, but I think there's still a Clown Alley there.
There's another one.
But it was
That-
definitely
there's
there in
one of those
79.
things where it was two
that's
brothers
another-
and
that
they
was one of my
argued with each
favorite
other.
places. I
loved
Yeah.
it.
Everybody
They
went to
had good
Clown
burgers
Alley
there.
after shows.
I just love the
Yeah.
name Clown
Yeah.
Alley. For him. I'm like,
Yeah,
this is
Clown
San Francisco,
Alley,
of course.
right.
You know,
San Francisco's
Too
full
perfect.
of places like that. Clown Alley, Whiz Burger.
Well, so summer '77, we spent a lot
Hamburger
of time
Mary's.
up in San
yes,
Francisco,
we did.
right?
Right.
Because
Right.
we went up and played Mabuhay Gardens.
Yes. Yep.
We might have been on a bill, I think,
Might have been on the same bill. Yeah.
with the germs. With the germs,
Bags.
Weirdos bags, germs, or Weirdos zeros. Oh, it wasn't the bags because the first time we played in
I don't
at
think no.
Mabuhay,
It wasn't. It wasn't us.
It was Weirdos and Zeros because we're all on Bomp Records, and I think
Yeah.
Greg Shaw kind of arranged for us to go up
right,
there.
Yeah, that's it.
But
yeah.
I
Well,
remember,
we
I remember
went-
being up there and seeing you guys. So
Well, every time the Weirdos played in San Francisco, we went to San Francisco.
oh yeah, that's right. If we had a show up there, it was like everyone went.
I know. Yeah, everybody went. Well, I mean, you guys were huge. I mean,
yeah.
I saw you when you made your kind of first public appearance, walking down the street, at least to me anyway, to Bomp Records. Mm-hmm. And everybody was talking about that. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, who are these guys? Bunch of fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
But it was so like, oh my God, this punk thing
That was
is
a
real.
fateful day going to the you're talking about the opening of Bomp Records.
Bomp, yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a fateful day. We had just added Nicky Beat
Oh,
as
okay.
our
So he was
drummer.
new. All
Right? He hadn't even played a show with us yet. And then the Damned were there, and then there was a band, these kids were there with a T-shirt that said Germs. And We started talking to Bobby Pinn
Right. Yeah.
and
Right.
Pat Smear and Lorna Doom was there and
Bobby with all the-
someone, I think Pleasant was there and was like, "Oh, the
Oh, I'm
Weirdos have
sure.
a show tonight with the Zeros. You guys should go get on this show, or something and like that." And someone, like I know one of the guys in the band was like, "Hey, come meet the Germs," and then John and I went over to talk to them, and we added them to the show
Wow. How about
at
that?
the Orpheum Theater.
At the Orpheum, yes.
Right. We were playing with the Zeros. We were supposed to be playing that night, April 16th of 1977. We were supposed to be playing with the Nerves. It was the Nerves, the Weirdos, the Zippers, and the Zeros.
Okay.
The week and right before that, we had done Friday and Saturday night there, 2 shows a night with the Nerves, Weirdos, Zippers, right?
Yeah.
And about a week before that, April 2nd, we played our first show. And those shows were with no drummer. It was just Weirdos, just the 4 of us, right? No drummer yet. But the first show we ever played was with Nerves. It was Nerves, Weirdos, Zippers, Dills, and Short Ice.
There we go.
They drove out. They were a bar band that drove out from Pittsburgh,
Oh, well.
And so the Nerves and that was at the Gower Gulch soundstage. And a few days before that, the Nerves were down there checking it out because they were looking. They had done this like Hollywood Punk Palace pop-up at a gay disco on La Cienega.
Texture, weave, and pattern of woolen fabrics are reproduced in color so accurately that a film could be used to replace the sample books of salesmen.
Time-lapse photography shows you, perhaps a little late, what happened to your front yard.
Anyway, so the
I can't
Nerves had
place
done this pop-up thing, and they were looking for another location, and they heard about the soundstage at Gower Gulch. I don't know how, but they're downstairs. This is what they told me. They were downstairs checking out the sound, and they could hear this band upstairs. And they were like, they're talking to the guy, and they keep hearing this band upstairs, and they're like, we got to go up there and see who that is. And we were rehearsing at this little tiny studio, about as big as this room right here.
Yeah.
And we had been there for rehearsing for a month or 2. And we had our 8 songs, and we would, no drummer, and we would stack our speakers like a little wall, on one side.
Right.
And we would just everything was turned up all the way
Yes,
because
of
we
course.
didn't know any better. We just wanted it loud, And we finished our 8-song set, and it was all these original songs that we had written. And because we were practicing our set for our first show, we didn't even have a drummer yet. We were like trying to audition and find a drummer.
Yeah.
And to no avail, we still didn't have a drummer. The door opens up, and these 3 guys walk in, and I recognize them immediately because I had bought the Nerves single that they had put out, their self-produced single. And they're like, where's the drummer? We heard a drummer. And we're like, no drummer. Oh, what's the name of your band? The Weirdos, and we were talking, and I was like, oh, I know who you guys are. You're the Nerves. And they were like, yeah. And they said, well, we're doing a show here Friday night, and we'd like you guys to be on the bill. You guys sound great. And we're like, no, we're not ready yet. We don't even have a drummer. And they're like, wait, you don't have a drummer, and you're called the Weirdos? That's perfect. Don't change a thing.
Yeah. Perfect.
So we were like, oh, okay, And I actually have I was recording our set on my cassette recorder, and I forgot it was on. And later that night, I went home, and I'm like, listening to our rehearsal, and then the whole conversation is on the tape.
Wow. Oh, man,
Jack Lee,
that's excellent.
Paul, and Peter Case.
Yeah, Peter Case.
right?
Right.
And
Wow.
so
That's some history right
that's
there.
how we ended up doing our first show, and then
Yeah.
and then when we did that first show, Fast Freddy was there from Backdoor Man magazine.
Oh, yeah.
And I know Debbie Scow was there. She was their photographer and took a photo of us. And the two of them were like, "Hey, we know this guy named Nicky Beat. He would be a good drummer. He just got kicked out of Venus and the Razor
Venus and
Blades."
the Razor Blades, yeah.
Right?
Right.
So I don't know. There was a photo published in Rolling Stone magazine with Nicky with Venus and the Razor
Yeah,
Blades. It was
yeah.
a Kim Fowley band.
Right.
Right? And that's how we.
That's how
if
you
you
met
see
Nicky.
that photo of him, he had
Yeah.
he had really long
Oh, yeah,
hair,
yeah. He was
right? So he came over to my house. We called him up. He came over to my house, and we were talking to him about the Weirdos, and he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe I'll try it. We'll try it out, And he goes, he's like, "Where's your bathroom?" I'm right there. So a few minutes later, he's in the bathroom. We smell something really bad, the smoke kind of smell. Then we go in there, and he's burning his hair off because he wants to
That's
have short hair.
That's so Nicky.
He had a book of matches. He's, I'm just thought I'd.
Okay, well, no scissors nearby, I
Have
guess.
you ever smelled burning hair?
Yeah.
It was that odor,
Well,
But,
there you go.
So then
Weirdos
we
meet
rehearsed with
weirdos.
him, and we so by the time we do that show, with we had the Germs, the Nerves call me up and they say, "You know what? We've decided not to do the show, and we're planning a tour and we need the money for our tour." I'm like, "Oh, okay," and they said, "Well, here's the phone number if you guys want to pay the $90,
Oh, okay.
and here's the phone number for the Zeros, and the Zippers aren't going to make it either. I forget why, for some reason, because we just done a bunch of shows. So we just done the week before that, 2 nights, 2 shows a
Yeah.
night. So now we had 5 shows under our belt."
I know, right.
Of our 8 songs, we add Nicky, and rehearse with him, so he's ready to go. We meet the Germs at the Bump Records. The Damned are there. Greg Shaw. I think Rodney was there or something.
Yeah. Rodney was
Anyways, and then even on Rodney's show, he starts talking about the Weirdos. Somehow, maybe because I had my girlfriend call up and stuff. Rodney's like heard about the band, the Weirdos. And so
Rodney was cool that
So
way.
then we did that show at the Orpheum. I went down and paid
Yeah.
the guy. I go down there to pay for the show to the Orpheum Theater. It's one of these theaters. There's a name for them. They're all over Hollywood. They only have 99 seats in them.
They're called 99-seat theaters.
That's right.
Yeah.
But there's equity theaters. I
Yeah.
think they're called.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they avoid paying union fees.
Yeah.
All right. So the guy in there, I went to high school with. And
Perfect.
so he said, "Oh, Cliff, hey," I think his name is Richard. Anyways, so I pay and I secured it. I confirmed the Zeros. We had already printed up flyers. The flyers all say Nerves, Zippers,
Yep.
Weirdos, Zeros, and so we're like, well, we're not going to, make a new flyer. But we meet the Germs. They agree, Bobby Pinn and Pat and Lorna and their drummer. Who was their original?
I can't remember.
Did
Don
you play
came
with the
in.
Germs
I didn't.
at any
No,
time?
No.
It was I'll think of her name. But anyways, so they show up, and were you there that night by any chance?
That
That show?
is the one show I missed.
Oh, but
To my regret this day.
right. So the Germs are playing.
Uh-huh.
Bobby Pinn starts smearing peanut butter on his chest, a la Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop, yeah.
And Belinda's sitting there. I didn't know Belinda, but she was a friend a friend of theirs. She was there, and I think Pleasant was there, and maybe a few other friends. And then there wasn't really anyone sitting there. I'm standing there, like, watching them, going, "Oh, this is cool," because I was sort of
what is this?
an art school person, and
of course,
into performance art, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of actually enjoying it. And then the guy who owns the Orpheum Theater comes up to me. He goes, "If you don't get those guys off the stage, I'm shutting the show down."
Oh my God.
Because
Okay.
he's like afraid he's gonna stick the mic in the peanut butter.
Okay.
And by the way, they just made noise. They could barely get through a song, and they're just laughing. They're just
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty
Okay,
bad,
let's
yeah.
just be honest.
So I was like, oh, all right. So I go over there and I'm like, I explained to him, like, this is, I apologized. I felt terrible, but I said, they're going to shut the show down if I don't get you guys to stop, So they said, oh, okay. So they gather up their stuff, and then the guy who owns the club, like, wants them out of there. You guys get out of here with your peanut butter.
They had that. They got that reaction often.
Right. So, and I learned later from Pat that, because we were talking about it one day just a couple years ago, Pat said, I said, were you there? Did you see the Zeros and then us play? He goes, no, he kicked us out. We went across street to Tower Records. We were right across street from Tower Records.
Right. Yeah.
And so then the Zeros play, and we're like, wow, they're good.
Yeah. Zeros were good.
They're real cute.
Yeah.
And everyone liked them.
Yeah.
And then it's filling up, and then the Damned are in there. And Kim Fowley, Rodney Bingenheimer, Greg Shaw.
I've seen a lot of photographs. All those people, yeah.
And so, and 80 other people. The place was, filling up nicely. I know Jenny Lenz was there.
Jenny was there. Yeah.
Photos.
Right.
And so we do our set of 8 songs with Nikki. I have a recording of that too.
Oh man, wow.
And then we finish our set, and then Captain Sensible comes up to me. I think Hector just told this story, right? He comes up and he says, oh, that was great. Can I play with you guys? Do a song with you guys? Do an encore. Come on, I'll play with you guys. And we're like, oh yeah, okay. So we handed him a guitar. And he gets on stage with us, and I just started playing the riff to "Pushing Too Hard," the Seeds song. Yeah. We had never played it before,
right?
And we were like, "What are we gonna do?" And I just like, let's just follow along, Yeah. And John's going, "Pushing too hard, pushing too hard."
Perfect.
And you can hear on my recording, Captain Sensible's just squealing. He wasn't even playing the song. It's just squealing feedback to the amusement of his band, and his manager, Jake Rivera, is there, right? And so I think, and then later on, after that show, my car was parked in back, and I was driving an old, it was my grandfather's Mercury, Monterey. It was a nice one. It was like a 2-door hard top. Yeah. But it was like, it was kind of beat up a little, and it had an Earl Scheib paint job on it that was coming off. And on the front grill, there's peanut butter smeared on my car.
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't think it was intentionally put there. I think it just, someone leaned against my car that had peanut butter on there.
And I wonder if his name is Bobby.
And I just left it there for a long time.
Right.
The delicate differences in textures of drapery materials between glossy or soft matte surfaces are clearly shown.
Here is a super slow motion study of the flight of an arrow. See how the lazy push of the bowstring sends the arrow floating sedately to the target?
Oh, I wanted to finish that. So we finished the show at the Orpheum Theater that night, and everyone's like, great show. You guys are fantastic. We go outside. Now, that's where I saw my car had some peanut butter smeared on it. And John and I were like high. We're just so high. We're just from the experience, right?
Right.
But we were like, the Damned were there. We Captain Sensible, because we already had the Damned album, right?
Yeah.
Everyone had 5 punk rock albums. I think it was like the Damned, the Vibrators, a couple of Ramones album, and live at the Roxy
Yeah,
or something,
that was it.
you know,
Yeah.
or maybe live at CBG, you know, that was it, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a Clash single, Buzzcocks, Spiral Scratch.
Yep.
I mean, that was about it, you know, Eater. And so we're back there, and these two guys walk up to us. It's Tomato and KK.
Oh, my God.
They're like, we're
How
from the
about that?
Screamers. So then we meet them in the parking lot after the show that night. They're like, you guys were fantastic. They loved it, you know. And I think the next day the punk rock scene started.
The
in
whole
LA.
scene, yeah, was like right there.
Yeah.
It just exploded.
But you know, there was, because we didn't know about the Screamers, right? So it sort of coalesced around that Orpheum show and bands coming into town like the Damned and the Ramones, and then I think the Runaways weren't really a punk rock band, but the people that
There was a lot of
became
connection
the punk
with them.
rock scene were like would go to the Runaway shows.
Yeah.
I mean, there was but those bands played the Whiskey and the Starwood, and we were like,
right.
well, we'll never be able to play those clubs.
And then they opened the doors to all of us.
Yeah, later on, right? So then we didn't know this, but at the same time, all this is going on. There's a group of people starting up a magazine called Slash Magazine. Mm-hmm. So you had Bomp Records, kind of like there was a place for people to hang out there. Yeah. These shows that were coming up, or bands that came in from out of town. Like right after we played that Orpheum show, the Dam played the Starwood.
The Starwood, right.
And so everyone went there, you know. Yeah. And Rodney's radio station, and he kind of was hyping New York bands and
but that was the first thing I heard.
British bands.
Was Rodney's show.
Yeah.
Sunday night.
Right.
And that's when I realized, because I came out here from Texas with the first Ramones album.
Right.
Not knowing, whatever.
Right.
And then I heard that show and I go, oh, wow. This is a thing. This is that. But see, so that was all that. That was just so you know.
Right.
At the same time, because all those fans, you got LA. It's very spread out.
Right.
So how is it that people are just going to know when it's not in the newspaper? It's not
Right.
But the way that they knew, because I was there, was that you had places like the Plunger Pad.
Right.
With Helen and Trudy and Trixie and Mary Rat. Mm-hmm. I met those people like day one almost. Mm-hmm. And then I started going there, and it was just kind of like, late 70s version of the internet. Mm-hmm. Because everybody that knew anything that was going on.
It was just word of mouth.
Yeah, it was word of mouth. And right there was Information Central.
Right.
So boom.
Yeah.
We would just go to these places. Everybody knew. And and it clubs themselves.
Well, we're doing our thing, the Weirdos, right? We just sort of emerged kind of first, I think. And then the Zeros were there, right? They were part of the scene.
Day one, yeah.
They were from San Diego or Chula Vista. Right? Yeah. But they became part of it. And then there was the Screamers pad, right, going on. And then Blondie comes into town not long after the Dam played the Starwood. And then Slash Magazine is kind of happening.
Yeah.
And then you had like the Germs and their little circle of friends, right? So Bomb Records. I mean, there was kind of was like mold growing. It's sort of like and then it sort of like came together.
It all came together, right?
Right. Connected. It all connected. Right.
So how did that happen then for you, Jackie, when you were at UCLA? What then led you north?
Well, like I was saying, when I was growing up, I was going to UCLA, and then I got into film school. And both of my brothers were skateboarding photographers. And for years, these skaters would show up at the house because they worked for Skateboard World magazine. They basically ran the thing, and they took all the pictures in there. So Tony Alva, all these guys were at the house all the time because they knew if they got their picture taken and in the magazine, they get sponsors and blah, blah, blah. And they were all kind of had big egos. So I was at film school, and actually like I was saying, there were a lot of people. I graduated in 79 that were there that ended up in bands like Bruce Leisher. Mm-hmm. And everybody was going to shows. And at one point, I think it was Mike Gross, I think it was his project, because Shirley Clark, the famous video artist, she was teaching at UCLA, so people wanted to get into her video class. And he was, for his video class, going to make a video of the Go-Go's. And Billy Zoom was their roadie that day. And they all came in, and something went wrong with the equipment. And that's the thing. It was expensive equipment, and it was touchy. And so it never got recorded. And but I just remember them coming and hanging out. And he might have made a video later on when I wasn't there, but that day it didn't happen. And they were all ready to go and everything.
Well, I mean, that was
You know, I was going to Cal Arts in
Cal Arts.
74.
Yeah.
I was taking a sculpture class with Linda Benglis, who was a very well-known artist. She shows up with a David Bowie haircut, right? That's my and we were like, you know, she was giving us. She said, "Do whatever you want to do." So I at Cal Arts, I got the television studio. There was a television, state-of-the-art television studio in there.
Yeah.
And I got a few friends of mine on cameras, and I lip synced with this guitar to Secret Agent Man.
There we go.
Yeah. And so I still have that reel, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many back there.
dig it
Just
out,
really
see if we can
simple
transfer it.
performance artists. Mike Kelly's got stuff where it's just real simple with a camera and people doing stuff.
So this is all.
Everybody's doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it's back with reel to reel. I mean, if you went out of the studio, it was all half-inch reel to reel, but meanwhile, everybody's going to shows at night and then going to do their work during the day. And after I got out of film school, I was, and I used to go to Weirdo shows all the time. I was totally aware of the Weirdos. I was doing commercials, and just decided that wasn't it for me. I was like, this isn't my world. And I was friends with a girl named International Kathy, and she was friends with Pearl Harbor and the Explosions, and I got to be good friends with them. And they were going on tour with the Talking Heads, and they needed a house sitter. So I said, I'll house sit. So I went up to San Francisco for 2 weeks and ended up staying 3 or 4 years. So
How about that?
Yeah.
Right.
And, you go to San Francisco, I knew 200 people within 2 weeks. I mean, it was just like,
It
it's
was
a small
really good
town.
like that.
And
now I read in an interview that the whole thing with Target was just kind of an accident, just sort of.
well, no, I knew this guy. I had met this guy. Another friend of mine came up from LA and was staying with me. And we went out, and she knew this guy named Alex. And she said, "Oh, you really should talk to him. He." And I went in, and we were talking to him one day, and he goes, "You got to meet Joe Reese." And he goes, "This is the address. Go meet him." And so we went over there, and I met Joe. I said, "He says I need to meet you." It was something like that, where I just walked in. I said, "Well, somebody said I need to be here," and so we met, and the rest is history. I mean,
I know.
And then I eventually, when Hillary and John came back, I ended up moving into the Target warehouse from there, and stayed there for a really long time.
And you guys, while that was happening, were you aware, I guess I should ask, of just how important and how amazing that kind of thing, and how unique that was going to be?
Yes and no. I mean, you just went from day to day. I mean, sometimes we were shooting like 3 times a week or whatever, and beyond, working camera and doing stuff, there's the stuff that happened during the day. On the weekend, sometimes we'd have parties where we'd have bands in the afternoon, and we'd tape them on a Sunday or something.
Sure.
And but if we were shooting at the MAB or something, or at Sound of Music or wherever, it was like going out all the time, and you had to have a day job.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
It wasn't paying the bills, and a video cassette cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think they were $30 or $40. I can't remember if it was for a half hour or an hour, which doesn't sound like a lot now, but it was a lot back then.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's back
What's
when
the
rent was
equivalent now,
cheap.
150 bucks,
or something?
yeah.
It'd be probably $150 or $200,
Yeah, that's a lot of
and then
money.
you had to get a camera. And for a long time, Joe had just the basic Portapack stuff, because those guys have been doing stuff for a long time before I got there, for several years. They had already done Cramps at Napa, and
right.
the warehouse had burnt down in Oakland, and they had moved. This is in San Francisco on South Van Ness. And he got this. It was a JVC, and that was state of the art. I look at it now, and I know which camera is which based on if I'm looking at raw footage. It's like, oh, I know what camera this is. I know what year it is. I can identify things based on just seeing little visual cues. And at one point, these guys bought us Ikegami cameras, which were state of the art. They were $100,000 a piece, and that's in dollars back then. And so we got a lot done with those.
Yeah.
But back then it was, just especially when bands were coming through a lot, not just bands from LA, but a lot of bands from the UK started coming over and New York. And it's just hey, you guys want to make a video, blah, 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 or they call us up one way or the other. At one point, Joe went to New York and shot bands. When we went to Europe, we shot bands. But in the beginning, it's like, it's something special that nobody else was doing.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember at one point, to me, Francis Coppola was God, and he was San Francisco based.
San Francisco, yeah.
And he and, what's the guy's name? I forgot it now. I guess it's his producer.
But his studio was in Hollywood, right?
No, but the studio had closed down.
Oh, right.
I think it had closed down by then.
What was the name of his studio?
Well, he had a building in San Francisco, which he still owns. It's kind of looks like the Flatiron Building in New York. It's called it skips my mind. So he still had a big presence in the Bay Area. I mean, he lived up there.
Yeah.
But they were, he was into calling things electronic cinema and stuff. So those are, okay, you guys get it. You guys get what's going on with video. And they had gone to Japan, and I remember calling him up, and I was saying, and I had so much awe of these guys. I said, what did you guys find out in Japan? It's like, to me, it was like, okay, what are all the secrets? And he goes, well, we saw some cameras, went to some bars. And he really didn't have anything. It's like, oh, okay, rich guys going to Japan, okay,
Right.
But still, it was exciting, and Coppola was the one that coined the phrase electronic cinema, and so there was that kind of understanding of it.
Sure, yeah.
But like when Joe and Jill were living in Oakland, they had a cable show. When people don't remember, I mean, people are barely going to remember cable TV, let alone public access.
Public access.
So they had this public access show, and I can't remember if it was before or after, but it was the Maharishi. No, it was a Maharishi meditation hour, and they had their punk show on afterwards. It's like crazy, and that was totally normal. It's like people watched Channel 3 or whatever it was.
Well,
And that was back when, you walk into the studio and we had TVs everywhere, and there was always a TV on in the studio. And that was when CNN had started. And CNN just was on 24/7 and with war and Central America footage. And so it was just different perspective in terms of what you were seeing on TV all the time and what you were taking in terms of politics, Reagan and everything. But as far as knowing we were doing something, I knew nobody was doing it down in L.A. And we did a show at the Whiskey. We came down and did a show at the Whiskey. And all these record people came up to me because I was there putting the show on. And they were like, they all were making music videos mostly with Bowie and, more, not mainstream acts. Bowie's probably the most mainstream, but certain artists knew that they wanted to get videos made, and they had no idea what to do with them. They put it on Saturday night. What's it called? Doc. What was it called? That show? What's his name?
Oh, you mean like
Don
Kirshner.
Midnight Special.
Kirshner. Don Kirshner on Friday nights.
Right.
And later on, I remember Devo was on there. I was like, wow, okay, things are changing.
It was about the only place you could do it. Yeah.
Because, and none of those people, it's like, oh, you made a record, therefore you're going on the show. I don't think they really knew how things were changing. Yeah. But all these record guys came up to me at that show wanting to know, do I have the solution? to like, oh,
Well,
okay,
because you were
okay,
at the
what are
cutting
you
edge.
doing with all your videos?
You were doing that.
And I thought I,
mean-
was going to get a solution from them because they had made all these
Yeah.
videos, and at that point they didn't really know what they were going to do with them. And later on, like '82, I think it was, MTV was testing in DC, and they
Well,
they knew what to do then.
Isn't it strange though how like at that time in the '70s? I mean, everything you were doing and everything you were doing, everything a lot of us were doing, was just this weird kind of laboratory for so many different things that came to fruition later in the '80s.
Well, and the
90s,
thing
even
is,
the internet.
I think, and
was-
the thing too is that everybody knew that's what they should be doing then.
Yeah.
Even if it, like, I didn't think that, I saw a lot of potential in it, but I was waiting for the catalyst, you know,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
business
Just-
catalyst of
right.
it. And same with bands wanting to get signed or whatever. But I think everybody knew this is what I should be doing right now, and this is what I want to be doing right now, not what I should be doing right now. I mean, not should be, like, my parents don't want me to be doing this.
Yeah, yeah. But you got to do it because
Yeah, it's like me trying to explain. I graduated from college, and this is what I'm doing. Oh, I'm hanging out with a bunch of musicians in San Francisco, making videos. And I'm going, don't you have an office someplace?
But it's like the whole world will be doing this someday.
Yeah.
You know, but nobody would have believed it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like the Weirdos. I mean, you know that Jane and I started the little fan club, and she had her toilet paper roll that she put all the.
Oh, you know, I
toys
still
and
have that.
Things that, yeah, that's so cool.
Because it came in a box with
She
a
thought that would
zipper
impress
with
you,
a zipper
so.
on it,
Yeah.
right? And it was mailed to Dan Burgoy's office,
Yeah,
fan club.
Yeah.
And I actually, it was on display at the museum up in Seattle called the Experience Music Project.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
That Paul
Cool.
Allen
Oh,
built.
very good.
And they had when it opened, they had a West Coast punk rock display, right? And they had my guitar there, my Vox,
That was organic,
right?
real.
They wanted to buy it, but I didn't want to sell it, so I said, well, if you let you display it, but could you help me get it repaired? It needed to be repaired.
Yeah.
So they did that,
Fragile artifact.
and they had like a lot of Weirdos stuff there,
Yeah. Well, because you guys were just, I mean, like I was telling some people that didn't know. I mean, the Weirdos. First of all, it was that twin guitar attack. It was such a big sound, and it was such a powerful sound, and then the songs themselves just had this driving quality, just this kind of sledgehammer quality that I just personally loved. I just thought, oh fuck,
Me too.
this is so good. Yeah, it was like kind of like a controlled apocalypse.
But it always had this
know
really strong beat because I didn't know him until San Francisco.
Yeah.
But I used to go to their shows a lot, and it's like when you're talking about this driving beat. I was thinking of the song "Idle Life," and it just has that dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun, dun, and it's kind of, I don't want to say drones on because that's not the right word. Driving.
It
And,
just
and you
drives.
just
It
get
locks
into
in.
the
Idle
that
Life
sound.
was called Like a Drone originally,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
because that's the chorus, like a drone, like a drone.
Well, it was just such a, it was just such a big, powerful sound.
Yeah.
And then you have John there, kind of just about to teeter off the edge, just
Right.
about to fall into chaos, but never quite. And that was the beautiful thing
Plus,
about it.
the band was always sort of like about to just totally go out of control.
Yes.
on every
that
single
feeling,
song. Yeah,
That feeling. That's what made it so kinetic. And
yeah.
so energetic.
But our songs were really. I mean, I hear that all the time. People say, "You guys had the best songs. You
They
guys,
were really
Weirdos
good
were
songs.
our
They
favorite."
were real songs.
And they had intros. I sort of figured it out at some point how to write a song. Like the first song I wrote, I think, was "A Life of Crime."
Okay.
So, I had an intro and
Yeah.
a verse and a chorus, repeat the verse, the chorus, and then
There it is. One of the crowd favorites.
we still play it,
Yeah. Yeah.
50 years later. And so when I kind of, there was a breakthrough where I called John up. John, I wrote a song, and I played it for him. He goes, wow, you're like Bob Dylan. And then, I wrote Teenage and Do the Dance, and I'm Not Like You.
Do the Dance would just send audiences
Right.
just into a frenzy.
Right.
Because it was so simple. There was just so nothing to it, yet
Right.
everything, the whole energized encapsulation of what punk rock in LA was, to me, was in that whatever it was, minute and a half song.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a moment of just pure, an explosion of
Plus,
joy.
the title of the song is the only lyric
That's
of
it.
the
That's
song.
the whole thing. Yeah. New York was they were a little older and they're kind of serious. In London it was all flash and,
Yeah.
but LA was just that. We just wanted to have fun. We wanted to laugh and we just wanted to really enjoy and soak up
It
this
was
experience.
so fun.
Yeah. Fun.
It was just,
Yeah.
It was just this,
that was our
Blistering.
thing. Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So I remember we did a show with this band came into town called Devo, right?
Yes.
And we just got signed. We just hooked up with Dan Burgoyes as our manager, and Greg Shaw, Bump Records,
Yeah.
and Greg wanted to get a producer for us. He gets the Ramones producer, Craig Leon,
Oh, yeah, right.
to come out. So they said, "Oh, he's got to see you guys play." So they get this place downtown called Myron's Ballroom.
Myron's Ballroom, I remember, yeah.
Right? And it's a Weirdos show. Devo's going to support us, this band. And I don't think they had played a show ever yet in L.A. They might have played at the Slash studio. I'm not sure. Someone told me that, but I don't think I think the first show they ever did was supporting us in L.A.
I
First
think
show
it
they
was.
did in L.A.
Yeah, because I was at
And
that Slash thing. And
They were like, Dan and Greg was like, we need one more band. Cliff, who should we get? I said, the Dills.
Oh, there we go.
Right? So we and we had already done a bunch of shows. We'd already played the Whiskey,
yeah,
the
you
Starwood,
played, right. You've
and
been around.
we did that Slash benefit.
Yeah.
And there's in the crowd, I'm watching the Dills, and a lot of people showed up for that show
Yeah,
at
they
Myron's
did.
Ballroom.
Yeah.
It was in August
Yeah.
of 77.
77.
And Jackie has the flyer or the poster.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
In
well,
her
it's
house.
on the back of that poster. You don't know this. It's the Dill set list is on the back.
Oh my
of that
God, I got to
poster.
see that. But
Sealed up.
anyways, I see these people in the audience, and back then it was like the punk scene was still not really. It wasn't like leather and tattoos and mohawks.
Yeah.
There were or neon hair.
Right.
It was like thrift store neon.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And we just sort of created all that,
Yeah.
and so I see these people in the audience wearing bags on their heads. It was a band called the Bags,
Right.
right? Do you remember that? You guys?
I
were
wasn't
there?
in the band at that time.
Yeah, but it was.
But I
But
do
they were
remember.
there. Craig was there.
Craig, yeah. Oh, yeah. Alice
Craig
was in
Lee.
there.
Alice, and I already
Patricia.
knew Alice because Nikki said, "Cliff, could we go get my my girlfriend?" I said, "Okay." So I had to drive Nikki out to East LA
East
and
LA,
pick up his
right.
girlfriend, Alice. That's how I met
yeah.
Alice.
Right.
And she was and then Patricia was in the band then too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Morrison. I don't know if she was Patricia. Pat Bag.
Pat Bag.
There was Alice Bag, Pat Bag. I don't know what Craig went by. Craig Bag?
We called him Trash Bag. But
Trash Bag, right. Okay.
No, I don't know. It was Craig. Whatever. But yeah,
But
I mean,
that's when I first saw the Bags. I
Yeah,
thought, oh,
yeah.
brilliant,
I know, that
But
was funny.
the LA scene, you know what happened? We do that show at the Orpheum Theater. The next thing that happens is I'm getting phone calls from like Kim Fowley. He's like, I'm doing a show at the Whiskey.
Yeah,
It's called New Wave. New Wave.
Kim Fowley presents
New Wave. Kim
yeah,
Fowley presents New
yeah,
Wave.
Yeah.
And we're going to play Tuesday or Wednesday night. It's like a 4-night thing, right? And so we play the first night. He calls me up and he goes the next day and he goes, "We want you guys back. We want you to come back on Friday night." So we go back on Friday night, and so that's the first time we played the whiskey, right?
Yeah, right.
And a lot of people were there.
Oh, that's tons of people. Yeah. I
Kim
was there.
says, "Hey, a friend of mine's going to take your photo." So we line up, takes our photo, and it ends up in the July issue of Time magazine that had a 2-page spread on punk rock.
Punk, yeah,
And there's the photo of the
There it
Weirdos
is,
backstage. At
See,
the
you just never knew.
So this was
Right.
like April 1977. We do
I
our
know.
show,
Yeah.
and then there we are in Time magazine.
Yeah.
Not even just a few months later.
Yeah, just exploding.
Now what they were doing up in front, as you could see there, they were doing the pogo, which means just jumping up and down and kind of nudging against each other.
Valentine's Day.
They don't look too happy, do they? I tell you what he's singing, but he's singing the same thing he was singing in the last song. Now this is the second chorus. He is saying, "Who are these people in my room and why are they jumping up and down like this?" He doesn't look too happy.
So good. They're so good. They made me feel so good.
Thank you. Thank you. Here we go. Song number 3. Just goes on, doesn't it? I can't imagine going to Art Murray to learn how to do this, can you? I'm gonna go shove. I just shoved the guy. I feel very good about that. We're really having some fun up here. musicians and to each other and their audience. It's weird, man. And no wonder they don't applaud too much. They're all so tired. Fuck you. The same to you. I love this. I forget that I'm not live, and they can say fuck you to me, and I can say back to them. I love it. Now we got some fool over here who's getting messed up with the mic. You want to take that mic cord off, please?
Sorry? Do you like the show?
Oh, I love the show.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Where is this being televised?
This is for a new television show, and we're trying to find out a little more about punk rock.
Well, what is the program?
It's a new show called At Night, and it'll be seen in September.
Who's the station?
Oh, it's all over the country.
It'll all be over by September.
This is really weird.
You think the whole movement will be over by September?
No, it'll be changed.
It'll be changed by September?
I really hate television. I think this is really rude because this is our environment. We don't like people breaking in and taking pictures of us like that.
Well, I agree. I agree with you.
Imposing.
It is, I know. But go ahead and have a good time anyhow. I have to admit I don't like her. Man, I am really bounced up and down to a point where my ribs ache. Now we have up here, I have here an old rock and roller. As an old rock and roller, what do you think of punk rock?
Oh! I don't know what to say. It's
Not a hell of a lot to say, is it?
It's like a bunch of ex-military men trying to play some rock and roll. That's all I can say.
Now we have a lady over here. You're an old rock and roller, is that right?
What?
You're an old rock and roller. What does an old rock and roller think of punk rock?
I can't hear anything. I can't hear.
Take the cotton out of your ear. As an old rock and roller, what do you think of punk rock?
I hate it. It's too loud.
That's not so weird. I got a doctor who looks like that. He uses the same kind of stethoscope. consider doing an American Express commercial for the next couple of years at least.
In canned goods, groceries, and food products, color identifies the package, and quick and added recognition is the result.
The scientific motion picture camera can also help us see things that happen too fast for our eyes to follow.
Like I was saying, it used to be really easy where you just go shoot and get the footage, and then it got to be more lawyers and
Oh, yeah,
you
slowly
know,
but
club
surely.
owners were like, oh, what are you doing? You know,
But,
and
but
like
you know, some of the only video of the punk rock, West Coast punk rock scene is just Target Video.
I know.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
it.
there are
I
people
know.
in New
Tell
York
me another
doing too.
video production company.
There isn't one.
There isn't
There's
one.
nothing.
So
There-
what I would do, here's what I would do, because I know they've got, Joe put it on the web, his
I put it on
Facebook,
there, but-
well, the whole big list bands, but I would take like the best known bands that were San Francisco, LA, or
Yeah.
any, you know, including the Zeros, or, but I would just go like find a good Target video of like the Dead Kennedys, the Screamers, the Weirdos, the Avengers, the Nuns, the Crime, you know,
Yeah.
the Bags, whatever. You know,
Oh, there.
mostly from that, because they didn't really emerge. I mean, I ran into Target Video. We did in the summer of '78 because they came to LA when we played the Stardust Ballroom with the Screamers and Crime. And they had, I think they had one or two cameras kind of set up.
Right.
And I can't remember, it might have been all black and white. I can't remember if it was black and white. But I've seen, there's footage of us. And that was the show we're playing, like, and right in the middle of a song, the power goes out. And they have it on video too, because they went out, you know. And, but I would take, you know, I think they have the Germs, the Weirdos, Bags. They have Plugs. They probably have the Flesh Eaters, X, you know, and just like do like a 90-minute film and have no talking heads, no, like, what was it like back then?
Yeah. No.
So,
Not-
but
not that,
that was
but
was the film I wanted to make.
Yeah, I know.
said,
Yeah.
you don't
And-
have to interview Exene now.
Well, we
you don't need. Nobody
No,
wance to see
just-
old people.
But
Watch the
Just
bands.
everything,
you
because
know-
we did so many interviews back then too.
Yeah, I
But
know,
you just
I know.
start the film with the Target, you know, the Target
Yeah,
logo
that's it.
that used to be like at the beginning of all their videos, you know, it's
Yeah.
a little shaky, and then
let it go.
and let it go.
Yeah, just like this
Avengers,
immersive
right?
experience.
And Joe doesn't.
Avengers, Dills,
That
you know,
would be.
Weirdos,
put it
Screamers,
this
and
way.
then if they did, you guys did do interviews, right?
Yeah.
So if you have any interviews,
They're kind of
in it,
weird
it's
interviews,
got to
but-
be the interviews that they actually did. You know,
Yeah,
like,
that's what
yeah,
that's what I
kind
said I
of,
always
you know,
wanted to
right.
do.
Cramps, whatever.
But like I showed you,
that would be a, you know,
we dug up
Joe, that would be just a monument.
Yeah.
To everything that you created.
well, we should just go over with Dino and just put it together.
Well, I got mostly for Cliff's mom's,
Yeah.
and for Cliff. I said, Dino, I know that we did this interview with the Weirdos in the Mexican restaurant. I can't remember what the label said, but I have like the old catalog from the warehouse, and I said, this is the box number. If you can find it, I'd love if you can send it to me. And he's so fast. Boom!
Yeah,
I add
Dino's good.
this. It's in my email.
Yeah.
And it's the whole interview, and we were all there that day. It was in Tepatitlan, this Mexican or Peruvian, or not Peruvian, but Central American restaurant in the Mission. And it's Cliff, John, Dick's you don't see because his back's to us, and who was also in the back? Dave Trout. Is that Dave Trout?
No, it was Art Fox, I think.
Art Fox. And so next to Cliff is Amy. Oh God, I can't believe her name just went out of my head. Amy Linden.
She was a writer.
Amy Linden, who later worked at MTV after I left there.
She was from a radio station.
And she was doing Damage Magazine, was going to do this Damage Magazine live, and I think it's the only interview we ever did. We did one more with the Teen Idols, and then next to her is Jill, and then across from her is Ruth Schwartz from More Damn Records and Maximum Rock and Roll. And she has a lot of things that she did. And you can hear me in the background and Joe because we're shooting it. And it's like Amy would ask the questions and then John would ask a question back. So it was like goofy. It wasn't a real interview. And then we had another interview that we did.
I think John said, no, don't ask us questions. Ask us answers and we'll give you the question.
Yeah,
like it's
that,
Jeopardy or something.
and then we were shooting. Black Flag came up all the time, and we shot them a lot. And one time we were doing this interview. I was shooting this interview, I remember. And it was Chuck got this weird blazer on, looking really dorky. And he was acting like, a car salesman interviewer. Mm-hmm. And he was interviewing Des and Henry. So that was that interview. Yeah. I mean, it was just all sort of not straightforward interviews. They were all
but really, really fun, snippets and clips from the period. That would just so give life to the people being interviewed, but give life to the thing that Joe is creating for Target that would last forever and be an amazing kind of thing for Joe.
Well, and then my thing was just put it all in chronological order. Start with the earliest stuff and then Cramset Napa. And because the difference is too, technology changes as you go through. Yeah. And it gets like you look at Black Flag, it's shot with these $100,000 cameras. It's a lot different than the Cramps.
I remember he filmed us at Mabuhay Gardens. Mm-hmm. We went in there one afternoon and I said, hey, what if you put use some white paper and put a white paper across the back. The back wall was brick or painted brick or red or something. Just put these stripes back there, and he said, oh, good idea. So he did that. And I think he filmed us playing with a couple of cameras and edited it. And then he put in, some shots of nuclear... vintage, vintage like nuclear warning signs and stuff.
They play a lot of stuff off of TV,
right? And we were playing Neutron Bomb or one of the songs, maybe Fort USA, I forget. But it was really, he was actually making a music video.
He was doing just all of that way ahead of his time.
Yeah, and then in the studio we had this thing called an Aquastar, which they're this big now. But it was this big thing that was a projector, that was a video projector that was hung from the ceiling. And, it was a warehouse ceiling. It was huge, hugely high. And we had this big wall on one side, and we would just project. We would project that video the size of a huge warehouse wall. It was great. Right. And we had we had a lot of parties.
There was also like local TV station, and so he would film bands, and then they would play it on... the local TV station. Remember that? Yeah.
Well, they did that in New York. I'm trying to think.
No, they did that in San Francisco too.
You're thinking of they had the cable access.
Yeah, cable access, right.
That's what I was talking about before. Yeah. That was before my time. Yeah. But
we used to when we met Joe and Target, their studio was in Oakland.
Yeah.
And we were going up there for some shows, and they would let us just camp out in the studio there.
Yeah, and that's when they did the Screamers video.
They had a studio in San Francisco, and we would stay there. And I actually met Jackie at that point.
Yeah.
When she was there.
Yeah, the first studio, there were two studios in Oakland, I believe, but on the night of the Sex Pistols at Winterland was the night that their studio burnt down.
Oh, really? That
Yeah.
same night?
You were up there,
I
right?
was there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we were there, and we
Yeah.
actually, the Weirdos did a show, post-show after the Sex Pistols concert. So everyone went over to Mabuhay, and
Right.
we did a show. I think was the Bags played that night too, right?
Not the Bags, no.
Oh, okay, so not the Bags, but
I don't remember.
I don't remember Geza was up there. Everyone was up there.
Everyone was up there.
Yeah.
Everyone was there.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody was at that thing.
I remember we walked. We didn't have tickets. We just walked right up. Where, was it at Fillmore or Winterland? Where was
It was
it?
at Winterland.
Yeah, we
And-
walked up to the ticket
Winterland.
office. And, they
Yeah.
bought tickets and walked in.
Do you remember how much it cost?
The Nuns were up, and then
Yeah, I don't remember what it
Avengers.
the Avengers played.
Bill Graham show.
They sounded great. And then the
cost. Oh, the Avengers
Sex
were
Pistols
amazing
came
that
out.
night.
Sex Pistols played, and it was pretty.
Oh, the
amazing.
Avengers completely kicked the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, they blew them away. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, completely. The Avengers just owned that
Yeah.
musically. So I was with Jane Whelan at the time, and she got a little bit sick. And we were right down in front, so we had to go all the way up to the
That's right.
balcony, and then we
There was even
watched
a-
the rest of the show from there.
And then later on, after we played Mabuhay, at some point we were at a party, and there was Paul Cook and
yeah, that party was at Lamar's apartment at Haight and Ashbury. That's where that apartment was, and everybody was at that party.
yeah.
Right. Yes.
There was always a party in San Francisco that everybody was at.
Right.
Even, I mean, it was
Steve
always,
Jones, I think
it was either
Paul
like
and
Target
Steve
had
Jones
plenty
and
of
Paul.
party, or I mean, just crime would play, they'd have a big party.
Yeah,
a
parties
lot
all
of
the
parties
time.
at the Mutants Warehouse.
Well, it was so fun because there were so many good bands in San Francisco.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Mutants and Crime.
Oh yeah. Wait, the West
Avengers.
Coast scene.
And the Sleepers.
The
Actually, I love
the West Coast scene
Yeah.
had the greatest bands, I think.
Yeah, it was a huge
You know,
variety.
Yeah,
of
there
bands.
was New York and London and other band, but it was such a unique scene with bands besides Weirdos. There was the Screamers,
Yeah.
and no one was the same.
No
and,
one was the
and
same.
everyone
I
was
know.
writing original music.
Yeah, yeah.
And there were women. There
Involved
were
in
girls.
every aspect of it.
There,
All
Well,
of it.
and, it was multicultural.
There was it was
Had that in.
multicultural.
It completely.
And like I think the best band was the Plugs. I really do.
Plugs were
They
an
were
awesome
like
band.
my favorite.
I mean, just musically,
Yeah.
man, did they kick ass. And I
Yeah.
love Charlie.
Tito wrote some of the best songs.
Tito was
Yeah, we
Amazing
shot that.
guitarist,
Amazing.
great singer,
so good.
and Charlie was.
He was my favorite drummer at that time. I
He
mean,
was a
that
good
guy
drummer.
was one
And-
hell of a drummer.
and then I got
Yeah.
to play sax on their first album.
Okay. There we go. See?
So I'm on that
So
record.
cool,
Yeah.
right, right.
And they put out that was one of the first albums, self-produced, LA
Yeah.
punk band albums.
But
that
Tito
came
was
out.
quite a visionary, actually.
Oh yeah.
That guy, I mean, he produced half the first Gun Club album, and
Right.
he had a lot of little ideas on that record were his. And that
They
guy,
they
he
were
was
the very
amazing.
first Slash Records single.
The Plugs? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't remember, but
That was another party, Slash record parties. Those were good
yeah,
parties
those were
too.
actually, that's where I saw the Screamers
Crash,
for the first
Slash
time.
Christmas
Right.
parties.
I thought, my God, what is this?
In Steve Samioff's
Samioff.
storefront studio there on Pico Boulevard.
Yeah, right there.
Right.
That was it. That's where I met.
And I went there one night and they were showing the Devo
Showing the movie.
movies.
Yeah, that first Mongoloid
And,
and Jocko Homo or something. Whatever it was. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah.
There was a certain.
quite a year.
I was just thinking about something. There was a certain point where everything changed, and I think if I put it, I mean, video-wise with the technology and
Yeah.
was when the Screamers, like Joe did really great videos with the Screamers early on.
He did, yeah.
And
That
then
was
when
really-
they were doing, what was it called?
We got a color camera for one.
Destination, what was the name of that movie they were making?
the
They,
Screamers?
they with Renee Dalder.
Oh, right.
You know, and they got so insular with that,
Yeah.
and then it people start doing that. It's like, no, we're doing our thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
sure,
everybody
right.
started doing their own little video thing, and It didn't become harder for us because we were just in a warehouse going, you want to make a
Yeah.
video? And it's
Yeah,
like, sure,
yeah,
you know,
right.
come on.
Well,
down.
it's incredible. I mean, just things change so fast, and all of that technology, though it was big and bulky and expensive
Yeah,
and
yeah.
new at the time, man, there was so many changes so fast.
I remember going to
You know?
Europe with all that equipment, and it was
And then
not
5 years
easy.
later, you know, it's like
1980.
In late 1970, no, in late 1980, we met John Bodine, who worked on the Devo films, Are We Not Men?
Are We Not Men? That was it. Not joking.
And he wanted to make a weirdo. He saw us one night at Blackie's in Santa Monica, and he wanted to make, his girlfriend Sharon was our manager, and he wanted to make a video. And so we decided to make a video for Helium Bar, all right?
Yeah.
And he gets a warehouse in downtown LA off the 10 freeway. And we go in there, and I helped him. He built some props, and I helped him put together. He had a little plan for the song
Is that the
involving
one
a
with the
wrestler
dancer?
with the the dancer and the girl in the hard hat with the vest, you know. And I help him make a wrestling ring, right? Put it together, and all his buddies who worked in the industry just showed up and worked for free, and it was just John Dix and I. We had parted ways with the rest of our band then.
Yeah.
And so we made our video for Helium Bar. And it's one of the first MTV type videos.
Yeah, right.
I think when MTV was just running in Washington, D.C. or something, I remember him saying, I submitted it to this
thing,
this
this
new
MTV
network,
thing.
you know, when all the cable was just first starting.
That was the same thing. It's like this Black Flag video got submitted.
Yeah.
And when I went to work for MTV, they give you this catalog that they had. It was just a dot matrix printed out thing that was like this thick. Yeah. And then, but it was in numerical order, so you could see, okay, this is the first video, second video, third video, fourth video. And I have that still someplace. And you can look up and say, okay, these are the first 10 videos. And
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even know they have it anymore.
Right, probably not. But I did want to ask you, while we're on camera, just to, there was, I got some video of you guys, and you did that show at the Mask, and it was the kids from UCLA who did the video, and somebody years ago, and I don't remember who it was, said, "Hey, what's your address? I'm going to send you this DVD, and it's got bands on it, and it had the Avengers and Bags, and it had probably a third or fourth generation copy of that, and I remember that night I was there, but I don't, I hadn't seen that, and I was just so amazed, and when I took some stuff over to Dino at USC, he said that you had that video and that you were going to give it to him.
Oh, you're talking about that wasn't the UCLA guys.
That's the guy with the
TV
guy.
Some guys from UCLA went
Yeah.
down there, though, and did film the Weirdos. I learned about this, later on. There's a black and white of John. I think we're doing that song, "Do the Dance," and I think I've seen that on YouTube.
He shot it on stage.
Right.
Whoever was shooting it was basically on stage because you saw all of us.
Well, that's
the
okay.
audience.
Then, so that in 1978, the Mask had been closed down.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Around February of '78 or so, and I think shortly after that, I was contacted by Steve Samioff from Slash Magazine. Hey, Cliff, there's this production company. They want to film a punk band, and we can get a film permit down in the Mask.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, sure. So it was for this, it was a pilot for this show called At Night.
Okay. Okay.
And it was, I can't remember the guy's name, but I think he was a radio personality. This guy
Yeah, very old school.
Was the host, right? And they would the premise was they would go to they were going to go to the Mask, film a punk band. They were going to go to a disco in L.A. They were going to go to a couple other things that were happening at night, as long as it was at night.
Okay.
And they were like, "Oh, here's what's going on around L.A. at night." And it was a pilot for a show that never got picked up.
So that footage, you don't own or anything like that.
No, but I was given after we did that show. So we did that show.
Yeah.
And I was given. Steve says, or they told us that we wouldn't get paid, but they would give us a copy of the video to use. So I ended up with a 3/4 master of the video.
Oh my God! Yeah. Wow.
So that's what Dino has.
He owns it now.
Okay. Well, the reason I was asking because I was wondering if there might be a way we could get a minute or two of that to show on this interview at the end.
Yeah, just contact Dino. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he sort of digitized it so it looks good.
Oh,
too.
okay. He did. Yeah. Yeah. I had some old
And
video.
He took the part of the video where we're playing solitary confinement, like a minute of it, and they laid in the Danger House recording of solitary confinement.
Oh, really?
Because the sound,
Oh, okay.
right, and the guy talking, and it was cut into it's part of that film called Chinatown Wars. Because it starts out like, oh, this was what was going on in L.A. There was a punk scene going on. There's like a full minute of us from that video, and it looks fantastic because he kind of cleaned it up digitally.
It does, yeah, right.
And then when they laid in solitary confinement, it's kind of matched up pretty good,
Really?
right? And then you're in it. You're in the crowd.
I'm
You can
right
see
there in the
there's
front.
Terry.
Yep.
There's Belinda. There's
Mad Dog's in there too, I think.
There's
Jane was there, and
Jane. There's
Debbie
everybody.
Dubb, and
Everybody
was there.
Everybody
was there.
in
The
that
Weirdos
Debbie
was just-
Dubb's in there.
Debbie Dubb, yeah.
She's a good friend of mine.
Oh yeah, no, Debbie was.
I'll have to send her a clip then.
My
Debbie-
friend, I go, oh, there's my friend Steve Higgins, my friend Denny Burt.
Everybody. And it's funny because
Kick Boy.
Kick Boy, yes, of course.
So-
Kick Boy. Oh my God! If we just got an interview with him somehow.
Yeah.
I was
So,
gonna say
I mean,
that-
that's like the only great footage of
It's
of
so
any
good.
band in the Mask. I mean, is there any other good video?
There is no footage. It's not a matter of good. I don't think there's any at all.
Right.
Any other?
Nope.
There you go.
Now there is the guy. He's sort of like talking to people, like we're playing.
I
And he's
know.
like-
I remember in
He's
film
like-
school there were people that wanted to shoot down there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Brendan would let him or not. I mean, or it was a matter of lights and electricity and everything. But I do remember students going, "Oh, we should
Yeah.
go shoot there." And it might have
wish
been.
they
I don't
would've.
know if it was at the Mask or the other Mask.
Yeah. Well, Brendan, the fire department was on his ass constantly, so that's who closed it down. So.
I was down there one night, and it was still open, right? In early '78. All of a sudden, I'm like standing against the wall in the back. Someone's playing, and I'm standing next to this girl, and we're like listening, watching a band, and I look over, and a couple policemen are standing there, LAPD in full gear, and the guy whacks this girl in the stomach with a nightstick. And I help her out onto the street, and then they shut down the show, and that was the night. All the cops came in there and like cleared it. Everyone's freaking out.
I wasn't there that night, or if I was, I didn't.
That was the night they shut it down.
Yeah, that was the LAPD. Well, of course, the St. Patrick's Day thing.
Oh, yeah, at the Elks
of
Lodge.
course, and I was at that, and I saw the cops.
And the Bags played at the Mask benefit at the Elks Lodge.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then years later, I said to Brendan, why don't you put that out, make a record? And he said, oh, good idea. So then he took the tape, because Gazer had recorded it.
Yeah.
And they released that record. Now that's like one of the only compilations
It is,
of
yeah.
live music from
I
1978.
know there were just so few. We were just
That's sort of like when the scene was just getting going, you
Yeah.
know? Because it had the Dickies, it had X,
it had every
the
band.
Screamers, the Weirdos, the
Right.
Bags, the
We
Plugs.
had all the bands. We just didn't have the technology to keep it for history's sake.
Well, that was when Geza came up to Target. He knew a lot about recording, which
Yeah,
helped a
Gates
lot.
did. He
Yeah.
was kind of No, he
Yeah,
was
and
really
he used
good.
to come up a lot, and he would come up and Don Bonebreak was playing with them too, with the Mommy Men, and
Yeah.
we did some recordings of them, and he was really good. Because in the back of Target was a Subterranean Records, and there was a recording studio in the back, and there's one DK's video that we shot in there, and it's you were talking about the videos before, and it's sad to see them. The clips online, and nobody gives credit at all to it.
No, I know, they
Every
don't,
time I
yeah.
see one, it's like,
I see
This
that.
is
I
what
noticed
it's
that too.
yeah, they just think they
Yeah.
come out of the cosmos or something.
Please come back and do a part
Yeah.
2.
Sure.
May it come back in September.
We'd love to.
Let's do this. Thank you guys so much.
Oh,
That was-
of course.
Wow, that was good.
It was
I
fun.
learned a hell of a lot. It's one of the reasons I like doing this. I can learn stuff. It's like that. I was in the same room and I didn't know that. Okay, well, whatever. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.